Have you ever felt like you're stuck on a treadmill at work? You're putting in all the hours, you're hitting your targets, but your career, it just isn't really going anywhere. Well, today we're going to dig into exactly why that happens and, more importantly, what we can do about it.
It is such a frustrating feeling, isn't it? You're doing everything right, delivering amazing results, but your career path just feels flat. It's like you're running as fast as you can just to stay in the exact same spot. This right here, this is the core of what we call the performer's paradox.
And to really understand this paradox, let's step into the shoes of someone who is living it day in and day out. Let me introduce you to Arjun. Okay, so Arjun is a total rock star at his company. He's a fantastic manager. His own boss, Priya, sees his potential and has told him, hey, to get to that next level, you need to build some new skills, like strategic thinking. The thing is, Arjun really wants to grow, but his schedule is just completely maxed out.
And this is the reality for so many of us, right? The company with the very best intentions wants two things. They want your A-game performance, and they want you to be constantly learning. But when 12 to 14-hour days are the norm, where is that learning supposed to happen?
So you can see this isn't just an Arjun problem. His situation really shines a light on a huge crack in how we think about professional growth. What if the whole model is just broken? We've all heard this advice, I'm sure. You have to take ownership of your development. And it sounds empowering, but really, it's based on this assumption that if you're motivated enough, you'll just, magically find the time. It makes growth feel like this extra chore you have to cram into an already impossible schedule. And this is the big question we need to ask. What if this isn't a problem of motivation at all? What if it's actually a system problem? What if the way we structure work is accidentally trapping our best people? Let's just do the math for a second. There are 168 hours in a week. For Arjun, 75 of those are for work. You add in sleep, you add in basic life stuff like commuting and eating, and what's he left with? A tiny little sliver of discretionary time, just 4 hours a week. That's it. So, here's the reality check. That leadership course he needs, it requires 15 hours a week. The time he actually has, 4 hours. The math just doesn't work. It's not a failure of his willpower. It's a simple, unavoidable failure of arithmetic. The system is broken. So Arjun's feeling stuck, he's burning out, and he does something really smart. He calls up a mentor, a guy named Ramesh. And what Ramesh tells him, well, it completely flips the entire problem on its head. And this, right here, is the game changer. Ramesh tells him, stop trying to find more time for development. You're asking the wrong question. The real question is, how do you make the work you're already doing developmental? How do you turn those 75 hours of work into 75 hours of growth? Okay, so that sounds great in theory, but how do you actually do it? Well, Ramesh gave Arjun 4 practical shifts in mindset that can turn everyday work into a learning machine. Let's break them down. First, instead of just finishing a task, think about what capability you can build. That big presentation isn't just about getting the slides done, it's your chance to practice executive presence. Second, try little experiments. Tweak your approach to a weekly report. Third, don't go it alone. Team up with a colleague as a learning partner to swap feedback. And finally, and this is crucial, just block 30 minutes a week to reflect on what you actually learned. Now, imagine this. This is powerful for one person, but what happens when a whole organization starts thinking this way? It creates a culture where growth isn't some item on a checklist, it's woven into the very fabric of how work gets done. A truly supportive company can start assigning projects with learning goals in mind. They can protect time for development. They can train managers to be coaches, not just bosses. It really becomes a shared responsibility, a team sport. So Arjun started putting these ideas into practice with the full support of his manager and his company, and something pretty amazing started to happen. He discovered something totally unexpected. This new approach didn't make him feel more burned out. It actually fought against burnout. By finding ways to grow inside his intense job, the work itself started to feel more meaningful, more energizing. The treadmill, it started to feel more like a path forward. And this is the real transformation. It's a whole shift in identity. He went from being a performer, where challenges feel like threats, to being a learner, where challenges are actually opportunities. Suddenly, a setback isn't a failure, it's just data. And your colleagues aren't competition, they're collaborators.
So that leaves all of us with a really important question to think about. Performance is all about delivering results today, but learning is about building value for tomorrow. In your own work, in your own team, how are you balancing both? Because figuring that out is the real key to escaping the performer's paradox for good.